Live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello, everyone. This is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thank you for joining us. We do appreciate it. We're live streaming here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. So if you see a lot of activity going on behind me, that is what's happening. It's people working, but we're here in the corner live streaming on our YouTube channel, on our website, of course, on the Fox 12 Oregon app. So lots of places to find this live and to watch all these segments afterward. And we cover a really wide range of topics. Coming up this weekend is the second annual Queer Screams Film Festival. And we're talking about horror movies. Horror movies that are going to be showing there at the Clinton Theater. And one of those movies is the one that you're seeing right there on the screen. There is a zombie outside. And we have the filmmaker, the creator of said movie joining us right now, Ben Baur. And Ben, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Congratulations on the success and what's happening here with your movie and so many people watching it. And I want to get into that, but we always like to find out a little bit more about how people got into things. And I know you are an Oregonian, Albany, Oregon, I believe it is.
I sure am, yeah. Go Bulldogs.
I grew up not too far from Albany myself, so very familiar. And let us know, like, how did you go from growing up in Albany, not necessarily known for the filmmaking community necessarily,
For sure.
So how did you get into this? What made you want to start going down this career path?
I mean, yeah. So growing up, my family was always super involved in the local community theater in Albany. There was a joke growing up that there was always a Baur involved in every production. If we weren't in it, we were directing or doing props or working backstage or the box office. So I really grew up in that environment, and it really kind of facilitated that love of storytelling for me. After I graduated high school, I went down to Los Angeles. I went to a conservatory theater program. And, after that, I've had some success, small parts on TV, indie film, that kind of stuff. But it was more recently that I decided to stop waiting for someone to give me permission to do something, to act, and start writing and creating for myself. And I've done a couple web series and some short films, but this film, There's a Zombie Outside, is the first feature that I have produced. I didn't write and direct this one. I'm the star of it. I hate saying star, but I'm the star of this movie, and I produced it. Yeah, and we're so excited to be here, and I'm personally really excited to finally bring something that I've made to show here in Oregon, because I've never been able to do that yet. So this is a really fun opportunity for me.
That's great, bringing it full circle. Coming back here to Oregon, I would imagine being able to have a lot of people that here be able to drive up and actually see it in the theater like this. I mean, that's pretty incredible. I mean, and also just your career previous to that, but I love that you said you wanted to stop, having to get permission from somebody else to act, to do what you want to do. So just go out and do it yourself, which is a lot easier said than done. So that's a lot of work. Well, this particular movie, horror movie, and as you mentioned, you are the star in it. But also this fits into, I'm assuming, and I would hope you can explain this to me, but into the queer film scene, because this is a queer film festival. Can you give us a definition of that? Like, what exactly does that mean for anybody who doesn't know?
Oh, gosh. I mean...
Let me just throw it all at you right there. Please define everything. Yeah.
Yes, please. No, I mean, I consider queer film to be pretty much all-encompassing, LGBTQ plus. What's so special about this film festival is that it is all of that, but specifically for the horror genre. I've been to some horror festivals, I've been to some queer festivals, but this is the first time that it's been like an amalgamation of those two things. And I just think that is so cool, because, horror can be seen as a very queer genre, because it's the genre of the marginalized communities and like the other. and not to mention, most gay men's penchant for identifying with the final girl in the film. Um, so it's really cool to be here and to be able to experience all of this.
I love that. I mean, and horror movies have such a huge following. I mean, I'm sure, many people watching, they love them. I mean, what is it that you think, what do you think it is about horror movies and the genre
Oh
just in
gosh.
general that draws people in so much, that makes them want to watch these things that are happening on screen?
I mean, I can mostly just speak from my own experience. Like, I grew up loving horror. Uh, for me, there's just something incredibly cathartic about sitting there in the dark and like scaring the bejesus out of yourself, and coming through it, and like your body is going through fight or flight. It doesn't know that you're not in danger, and then at the end of it, to be like, and it's just, you can kind of just like have experienced all that, and then just like chill. It's really fun. But I will say, I've been to some horror festivals before with some of the shorts that I've made previously, and there is nothing like an audience filled with diehard horror fans. Um, I made this queer horror short a few years ago, and I got to go to a few festivals, and I was really nervous because I was like, is this going to be too queer for a horror audience? And they just loved it. Like, that's the thing about a horror audience, is if you make something cool or weird, like, it's gonna find its people and they're gonna get excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it would be a very, I haven't been to a horror film festival specifically, I don't think. I mean, but it seems like it would be a very accepting audience because you're open
It's
to,
very cool.
crazy stuff that's going to be happening on screen, and just, interesting stories and all that stuff. And
Oh
ultimately, it
yeah.
all comes down to that same thing, though, that adrenaline rush of what's happening,
Yeah.
and that group, the group experience too of watching a horror movie together in the theater,
Yeah.
which is part of what this is, with this film festival.
Hmm.
And I want to talk a little bit more about that too, but let's talk about There's a Zombie Outside. Now, obviously we don't want to give away anything or any
Sure.
spoilers, but can you give everybody just a general premise of what's happening with this,
Sure.
other than the title, which might be explaining it already? But
I mean, it's pretty explanatory. No, so I play a queer filmmaker, big stretch, who stops being able to tell reality from fantasy when a monster from one of his past movies follows him into real life. So it's very meta, it's very campy, it's very weird. Um, but we made a movie, and I'm just so excited to show it.
I really like that premise. That's great. So that's as much as anybody needs to know. We don't have to spoil anything because they can go
Yeah,
and actually watch
that's
it.
it.
But just a little bit about the festival too. And I know you're not running the festival, but being in it,
Mhm.
how does it feel? How does it feel for you to be in a part of this movie and have this being here? We touched on it, but to have this being shown at the festival here in Portland, coming back to Oregon, being here, being the star of it, and getting to show it off.
Yeah, for me, it's a really nice coming home moment. Um, like I've said, I've made a bunch of stuff, never got to show it here before, and it's really cool because like my mom's here, so she's gonna come, and my brother, and it's it's gonna be like a really nice family affair, and I have friends who I haven't seen for years who are gonna come, and it's really cool. I'm incredibly excited, and the Clinton Street Theater is, one of Portland's famous indie theaters, and so I'm excited to be a part of that as well.
It is. I mean, if anybody out there has not seen a movie at the Clinton Street Theater, it's one of those classic places. It was almost, I know it took some work to save it for COVID, and after that, but
Yeah.
clearly up running, a great place for so many
Yep.
different film festivals and movies, and sometimes things that don't get shown other places. They have it there, it's
Definitely.
home there, and just a really wonderful place. And so this festival, and I want to make sure that I have the dates right because I believe it starts on Friday through Sunday.
Yep.
The Queer Screams Film Festival. So this is the second annual one. So all of the movies, I guess, fall into that genre, as you mentioned before,
Yeah.
either queer in some way and horror. So lots of opportunities then.
Yeah. No, it's really cool. There's a lot of really great stuff going on. I know that Friday night, Jeffrey Reddick, who created the Final Destination series, he's going to be doing a double feature of Final Destination 1 and 2, and then doing a Q&A with the drag icon Peaches Christ. And then there's a ton of shorts, a few feature programs, including there's a Zombie Outside, which I'm very excited about. And yeah, I'm just so excited to see all the weird, cool stuff that people are doing.
Yeah, I mean, how creative people can get, and what's, you know, what they're creating in their minds of and putting it onto the screen and getting it.
Oh yeah.
I will say oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say really quickly. So the writer and director of the film is my very dear friend Michael Verratti. He and I have made, I want to say, like 4 horror short films together. And yeah, this is pure him, super weird, kind of scary, kind of meta. Like I'm just so excited for him.
Well, everybody's going to get a chance to see it. And when is this one going to be showing?
So this is going to be Sunday afternoon at 2:00 at the Clinton Street Theater.
Sunday afternoon, 2:00, but clearly a lot of stuff happening all weekend long. The one thing I was going to say about Final Destination is it doesn't matter how illogical it is in my brain. I cannot follow a log truck with like, I know they're strapped down, but scene, it's just,
you never know.
Yeah,
you never
it's
know.
The one time the guy decided not to strap it down enough, and that's what it's.
Yep.
Yep. But again, that's part of the fun of the horror movies. And well, congratulations, you know, for being in this and being here, and obviously all of your other work, but having this come back here. And
thank you so much.
Down and check that out this weekend. So again, that's the movie is There's a Zombie Outside, and the Queer Screams Film Festival taking place August 23rd through the 25th. And lots of opportunities to go check out some amazing films. Ben, thank you very much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. This has been so fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, anytime. And for everybody who's watching live, again, this is Fox 12 Now, so we're live here every weekday starting around 1 p.m. going throughout the afternoon, and we get to dig deeper, we get to have longer segments, we get to cover pretty much anything. So feel free to send in an email, fox12now@kptv.com. I can't guarantee we can necessarily make a segment out of something that you write in, but feel free to do so, and we'll see what we can do. And if you have maybe some segments on our other news shows, you're like, I'd like to find out more about that, we can always get a reporter on here too to dig a little bit deeper and maybe share some more information for you. So lots of opportunities, but thank you for being a part of it. We'll sign off for now. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.